and today we're playing The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last where we left off, we came to a final conclusion that, hey, the lady who got killed in this episode was poisoned with a dagger that was stabbed in her. But anyways, so we've proven that there was a possibility that our client was just simply trying to save her, despite her having a motive of her having killed another British person who is a mentor of the medical university that our client happened to be studying in. Anyway, so it's August 13th, 10:41 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. You stupid bitch, why didn't you tell me? You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. Are you sure? I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. Well, it got out anyways, it's on the fucking newspaper. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? You had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you'd stand by me to the last. Oh yeah, that's right. So another thing too, for those who didn't know, in the last stream, we found out that there was a photograph that was taken right after the victim had been stabbed, and the person took a photo right through the cracks behind where supposedly the killer actually was. So, which also, funny enough, was the same journalist slash photographer who was taking pictures of, what's his face again? Was it Susato? No, not, God, a lot of, yeah, Suseki. The dude was fucking taking pictures all over Suseki. So he's gonna be our next witness that we get to cross-examine. That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence? That you'd stand by me to the last? I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Well, yeah, it would have been quite nice if you had told me all this shit in the fucking beginning, but, you know, this game is, you know, Ace Attorney, it's not that easy as being a fucking lawyer. Actually, technically, I'm not even a lawyer. Hit me, Susato. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. Well, listen, bitch. If I fail to represent you, you're gonna get worse than that. You're gonna get the fucking death penalty. I'm no better, you know. Oh? Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pull the knife blade from Miss Brett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato! I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh, no. I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. And what's that? Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Basically, no faith. I don't know where that was going. Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. What a wise man. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray. Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Wait, why am I asking her for forgiveness? She's the idiot that fucking hid all the information about the poison and shit. Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Okay, hold on. Oh, Ray. Alright, is there any other information that we as a lawyer need to know, client? I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. It all happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time? That's right, just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that. A great mystery indeed. I still can't believe it had happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It'll be alright. However, it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you've said you saw is true. Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see. Yes. Without this chemical region, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical region? I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though just in case. Okay, that's a handy tool. What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yumi Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all the English woman's doing. Yeah, but she's dead. What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in without any compunction, said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there." It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction. So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison? Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too. This Many Memo-san. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. Oh? A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside? Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go back. Oh, yet he obviously didn't go back. Sorry, I went suddenly a man. Disguised as a man. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police. Ah. Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel, we've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed in the courtroom at once. Alright. It's time to steel ourselves once again then. Defense attorney, Ryotaro Naruhodo. Yes. Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day. Well, I'm glad that you're confident. Alright, we're back. I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Rei Minbami. Prosecutor Archie, have you summoned the new witness? Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share. Oh? What news? Why does he look so happy about it? During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikatoba's laboratory at Yumi University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life. Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter. Oh, too kind, Your Excellency. Too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course. I had the regents delivered to police headquarters by rickshaws, so it would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I might fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable. And, Counsel, what were the results? This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade. What? Are you sure about that? I would stake the reputation of the police on it. Under the region, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake. Okay, so there was no... Okay, so there was no trace of blood. Shit. Okay, that actually hurts our case. So then the only other way she could have been poisoned was if she was poisoned by the drink that she had. But the question is then, who poisoned her drink, if that was the case? In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed. Did she fucking moan? Now, the prosecution is ready to call the new witness. Oh, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well. Officer, bring in the witness. No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body? Yeah, gotta write that down. Oh, yeah, that's good. Witness, please, can you stop writing and state your name and occupation for the court? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, memes. Write in a memo of the show you news. I'm what people like to call a giorno. What's a giorno, Father? Do you know? It's simply a contraction of journalist. It's kind of cringe. I'm there when the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops, so they're in the print of the next morning. Oh, I gotta write that down. Oh, I gotta flex. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news. Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it? Well, what have we here? I'm sorry? Oh, brace yourselves, people. Memo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. Oh, it's good. Yeah, I gotta take that. All right, readers, we'll lap this up. We'll set it up above the fold, a 72-point in a 5-leg format for the morning edition. Huh? Right then, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Let's start with your name. It's Ryotaro Naruhodo. Next. All right, what made you want to become a lawyer? I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Ryotaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while. Oh, by the way, my name is Takasuchi Achi. That's Ta-Ke-Su-Shi-A-U-Chi. The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear to every defense lawyer's heart. Nah, the reason won't buy that. What? Witness? Yeah, hold on. Okay, all right. Cringe Lord representing prosecution is total fucking bald. Okay, yeah, sorry, what's up? What this court demands to know is whether or not you are responsible for the taking of this picture. It's not fucking writing. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that now, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me, you know? Sometimes I have to chase them down. By the way, you've got to be fast. Fast legs to run with, and a fast hand to write with. Oh, that's good. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my many-memosian. Wait, no, many-memosian. Many-memoism? I'm still working on it. Many-memoism?
Ah, yes, I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself into Seki-san.
Oh, yeah, right. That was me, Many Memo again.
But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu news offices after our meeting.
But the scoop is, I didn't. Because that Englishwoman's words had piqued my journalistic interest. Miss Brett's words? A criminal, left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's horse dung. This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. And the Supreme Court's ruling aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns. Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play. Well, anyway, I quickly jot down those words you said in my memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here. Right here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going on some junket? The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story so I could hammer her in the press.
Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph?
Oh yeah, and I saw it with my own very Giorno eyes. Not to be mixed with Giorno, but from start to finish, though, through the viewfinder of my trusty camera.
Thank you, Manny Memo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death.
I don't know why, but I'm getting like an Italian vibe from him, even if he's probably Japanese. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside, though. The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera and ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Read screens, you say? Right, you can see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. The hut walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds.
Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up. Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut? Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish. And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens. Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I get away with it, or would I be seen? It was the gamble of a lifetime. A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose. Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's the many Momosian in a nutshell.
Okay, can we please? That's like a fucking tongue twister if I've ever heard one. Anyways, at last, it would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No.
What?
I mean, no. Wonderful news, Your Excellency. Wonderful. I shall pray to the gods for my victory.
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Well, first off, exclusive news, a startling photograph, and all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published?
Oh, right.
You like my muscles? I can hold on for a long time. What the fuck is he doing? Anyways, it seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
More pathetic excuses.
Very well then, Counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. Wow, he's actually really... Wow, okay, I gotta say... Oh, okay, there he goes. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest. And I don't mean that camera.
Cross-examination. Begin.
What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place? Call it a journo instinct. Can you think of a better reason? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman. I see where you're going with this, but brace yourselves. People, he's painting the journo as a voyeur. It's hardly slander, so you had a camera and you were taking pictures without the woman's knowledge. Pervert. Nope, you've got it all wrong. Little student boy. Sorry? To my mind, all that was inside that hut was a scoop. Nothing more and nothing less. Scoops know no gender, man or woman. It's all news. That's not even many memos in. It's basic journalism. If only the quorum was as indiscriminate. Right, so if that's all buttoned up, can we move on?
Tell the court then, witness, what sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut?
A sight that vindicated my journal instinct. That's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day.
Yeah, wait, hold on. What's his full name?
Hold on, let me check his name. I can't check people's names? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so this is probably his fucking fountain pen. I'm pretty sure his full name is Rennie Memo, if I recall.
Hold it.
So you actually saw Mebami-san entering the hut? Yep. And she was raging like my Giorno spirit. In the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly? Well, you stole it, I didn't steal it, that kind of thing. Talking about the poison, I suppose. The student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she'd laid into her anymore, there would have been eggs.
I'm not gonna even... The man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism.
But the student's ranting fell on deaf ears, like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time. He really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest. I'm gonna move my mic. There we go. Anyway, the point is, that woman in the dock was mightily angry. And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me. Which was the climatic moment that I caught on film. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back.
Hold it.
Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place? Ha! The precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out, from start to finish. I have here a simple plan of the beach hunt. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed. Right you are. It's all here in my many memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here. Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that. She just sat at the back of the hut smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down. It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Bitch. Your Honor, objection. Nah, anyways, then the next moment as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. The Englishwoman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other.
What you describe is a grim crime indeed.
Yeah, look at my flex. I never sugarcoat the truth. That's what many memoism is. God, that fucking many memoism. By the way, many memo-san. Whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent this tragedy rather than capture it on film? Journos have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our raison d'etre. So you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all? Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in. And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor? I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
What are you...
I will grant the defense's request. Many Memo-san, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement.
You gotta, alright, well, nihilism is the foundation of many memoism, and I'll gladly prove that my words are meaningless. Okay. And everyone set foot in the hut nor spoke with the Englishwoman. Okay, actually, we can prove that because we have his pen. Yeah, he's got to be the person. I'm gonna actually risk it.
Objection!
Yep, I was right. Many memo-san. Until now, I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth. You're spot on there. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Shoyu News on my arm. In a way, it's more many memoism. Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth. What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, Counsel? Many memo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died. What are you? If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. RM. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused, Ray Membami. Is it a coincidence, I wonder, that your initials are also RM? No. Rayton Many Memo. Okay, Rayton. Or Rayton. I'm gonna say Rayton. Rayton Many Memo. RM. That's horse dung. Can't you see? One of the central tenets of many memoism is being a pencil user. And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see on your right hand, there is a very obvious blue ink stain.
It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is.
Horsey horse dung! Many Memo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brett in that beach hut?
Objection!
Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Very shit one at that. Exactly. Fuck, that was my fifth fucking pencil. Shoyu News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the sky. The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky. Huh? And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency. Oh yeah, the bottom of it. This right here. Oh. Yes, I know. Let me go. Alright. It's the bottom of the pen. As well as the initials, there is also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will of course recognize, Mini Memo-san.
Goodness me! It's the emblem of the Shoyu News.
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Shoyu News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly, the stars in the night sky don't seem to be so numerous, do they? Well, Mini Memo-san, how do you respond?
No. Order, damn it! Explain yourself, witness.
So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets. I've used nothing but honest tactics. Alright then. Fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yeah, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, a Shoyu News reporter on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the English woman. An interview? You never mentioned this before? What the fuck? When exactly was this? As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing, and as we many most say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news.
However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, right there. Yeah, testify, make sure you lie. Yeah, gotcha.
What was that? Nothing.
One condition. Like a condition? In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Soseki Natsume-san. Soseki-san? Oh yeah, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own. Embrace yourselves, because it's not a harmless one, it's big. What? Oh no, Soseki in the background's like, what the fuck? What? No! Many Memosm states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story.
Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Seki-san, hiding something? I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness came running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why Many Memoism demands I reveal it now. Wait, hold on. Wait, which lady did you talk to?
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness? And when she did, you decided to ask her a question?
That's, true, yes.
He did! And that's not all. The woman gave him a very definitive answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
Oh, shoot. This is preposterous. Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you Yoko hack?
It wasn't even a conversation. Yes, I did pose the withering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. She could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even.
Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. Reporters claim that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut? Yeah, I don't see how anyone else could have done it except for the reporter. This reporter keeps throwing... I asked the right English one.
Hold it!
You asked her for an interview, you say?
Well, of course I did. I wanted to ask her about the incident she was involved in at the end of the last year.
About the case in which Dr. John H. Wilson lost his life?
That's not the way I phrased it. Many memoism calls for straight talking.
Why did you murder Dr. Wilson? Is how I put it to her. Yeah, that sort of talking is as straight as a ruler. Oh, that's a good one right there. Anyways, ask every question as if you're asking for a menu in a restaurant, I say. It's the best way. A veteran at the paper taught me that. And how did Miss Brett answer? With one simple phrase. Mystery is a woman's charm.
Woo! That told me. So I waltzed right out of there.
Really? Something about that doesn't quite seem to fit together. Anyways, leave every room as if you're waltzing in a dancing hall. I say, it's the best way. A veteran at the paper taught me that. Yeah, hold on. Write that down.
Hold it!
Okay. Wait. Okay, so you left and then went around? That was very persistent of you, considering that Miss Brett had just turned you away. Persistence wins the prize. Any memoist will tell you that. Let them think you've left, and just when they lower their guard, that's when you swoop in for the scoop. And the fruits of your labor are all too apparent in this telling photograph. Though I'm sure the young Yoko student would rather not be reminded of this damning evidence. Actually, it's thanks to that photograph that we managed to identify this witness. Now that you've found me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I've got nothing to hide. I'm sure. Please do go ahead, witness. The court is eager to hear what you have to say. Try to stop me. There's a story to tell here, and I'm going to tell it. Okay, hold on real quick. Let me check the knife out real quick. I haven't looked at that. No initials, nothing. Anything on the bottom? Looks like a normal fucking dagger.
Hold it!
And Soseki-san remained behind in the hut? That's right. Yep. Our Arthur friend here was a blabbering wreck, shaking all over from his head to his toes, mustache twitching, eyes bulging. What do you expect? You don't know the terrifying troubles that taunted me whilst traveling abroad. Those damned English people, back behind baleful bars. They'll be coming for me surely. That's all I could think. I felt as though I were grasping for air, drowning in a sea of cold sweat. Poor Soseki-san. His experiences in London have scarred him deeply. As the world seemed to close to him and closing around me, I quietly recited a prayer to Amida Buddha. Eternal, emptiness, empty, eternal. That the end is coming for me, surely.
Those sutras are to resound in my courtroom, please. No religion.
And now we come to the crucial part. It's when it happened. That's when this writer man here asked the woman. Okay. Nope. Let me go back. Nope.
Hold it!
What question? What exactly did he say? Well now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Writer Man? Out with it, you yokel hack! What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman?
Well, in truth, I've been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see, like a good Japanese builder. What? Okay, I'm gonna ignore that. Well, the seaside is the place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man. Actually, sea castles do sound nice. Then, all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Ray.
I ran up the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosanaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan, a moan from the dead Englishwoman. I nearly jumped out of my skin.
But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I asked her, who did this to you?
Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond?
She didn't! She said nothing in response! But... When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you in unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will!
I asked her who did this to you, but she never replied. What?
Hold it!
So you tried to find out who the culprit was?
He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind. Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever.
However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct?
I know why. I know why the Englishwoman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stupid mustache, and because I'm Japanese. She was racist.
Oh dear, Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems. This would totally not backfire on us in 20, 30 years from now.
Having read the report on this time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at this xenophobia.
But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Writer Man?
Well, yeah, I am. Alright, she did respond in a matter of speaking, I suppose.
Hold it!
Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant? Soseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us with the student ghost standing on the far side of her. And when I asked who did this to you, the Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength and to point a trembling finger at the back of the hut. Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
No.
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? But fiddlesticks, I say! This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Oh, yes, of course. Konnichiwa. I mean, fuck! The Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and then I was trembling, and then everything was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all.
You mean that your memory events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it. Unclear. I'm very, very unclear.
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond reasonable doubt. Hold on, objection, Your Honor. This man's a fucking idiot, and he's bald. He's got a weird-ass fucking forehead, too. That's hurtful. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly, but there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because, as the court can see, there was no other person than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. Actually, that's incorrect. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined, because I am too stupid. And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this. Wait, hold on. Objection, Your Honor. We've just proven that the witness was behind the fucking hut. There's no. Okay, guys, it's fucking obvious. The headline's writing itself. Oh, stupid Tomboy? She kind of reminds me of Tomboy. Yeah, write that down. Dashing lawyer's hopes dashed. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition. This is a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gave us her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. Told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut listening to what I was saying. And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife in her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add?
So, the gallant Yoko student's luck finally runs out. I can say, I'm surprised. Or say, I can't surprise, I'm sorry.
In that case, I'm ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim? I know how.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh, to what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternative theory? Ha! None exists.
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime. What? And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction. This is fiction, fantasy.
Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, counsel, I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryotaro Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency.
you will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
Oh, right here.
Take that!
Naruhodo-san would never give up, and I'm a Naruhodo now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut?
What? Well, yeah, but guys, come on. This judicial court.
Order! Order!
But student lawyer Naruhodo-san, Esquire, that makes no sense at all. You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about, I can swear to that. Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut. There is no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Actually, Prosecutor Achi, there is a way. And in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing. You're bluffing, you yokel.
Shut the fuck up. The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut? This?
Take that!
Well, I've presented it now, but I haven't the first idea why I chose this piece of evidence. What? Wait, what did I click? Did I click the wrong one? Aw, fuck. Ah, shit, I think I clicked the wrong one. Yes, I know, I fucked up. Let me have it. Okay. Oh, it wasn't that? Oh. I mean, the only other... I mean, I guess this.
Take that!
The original photographic print of the crime scene?
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing which you claim took place from outside the hut?
Take that!
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No, I can't. I can't see any such thing.
It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary. I never would have thought of this without your help, counsel.
Yeah. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Oh! And of everyone present at the scene, there was only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Reitan Many Memo-san, it could only have been you. Huh? Oh!
Objection!
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume as part of this farcical scenario that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
No, of course not.
We're not?
If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death, inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. She just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the reed screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
I would. So in fact the victim was...
Killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the reed screen. Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively, but then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut, before the defendant, Mebami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency,
is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. By your silence, Mini Memo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge. This is absurd.
That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Mebami-san, is innocent of the crime.
Oh, thank goodness. I finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No, this can't be. The Archie clan can't. What of my growth of hope? It was all an apparition. I can't accept this. I won't.
I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final verdict.
Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals? But we've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut through the reed screen walls.
And no one but you was in place at the time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction.
So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now. Irrelevant? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed. It doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. What? No. After all, this trial has already shown the whole thing's hinges on something else. What? What is he talking about? What are you talking about? Brace yourselves, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up. What?
Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness.
What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you are developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see. Well, I gotta write that down. So presumably that means you fucked up, and that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Wait, what? Okay, wait, hold up, time out. I'm gonna time this out real quick. So we've established that he stabbed the woman, but before he goes down, he's like, now hold on, I may have stabbed her, but hear me out. The poison was already in her, so that means that she could have killed her. It's like, what? Wait, so you're just basically trying to bring her down with you before going? Anyways, why is that relevant?
Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated in her blood.
How refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed whom and whose back and with whose blade. Wait, what? No! What are you talking about? She was stabbed in the lungs. Because quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison. Okay, hold on. We cannot determine whether the poison killed her or not. Regardless, she got stabbed, okay?
Objection!
Yeah, objection. This is retarded. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already...
Objection!
Forgot already, have we, yokel peasant? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever. Oh yeah, so let me get this down. It's skillfully established by the defense in this trial. Turns out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right? Well... Ah! Ooh.
Damn, this trial is kind of getting out of hand. Order! Order! But where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? There is an undeniable, obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it.
You mean she drank it?
Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water and a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. The poison could have been slipped into either.
So somebody made Miss Brett drink it? Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already. Okay, there is the one thing. We don't know why he would have stabbed her. What is his motive? That's the only thing that's left out. Unless we can prove that he had a motive, we can't really, even if he was back there. Like, what's the motive? Established? What are you talking about? Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe, given that the person who established it was you. Me? What on earth does he mean? Ooh, let me catch those eyes. Yeah, this prime press fodder this is.
It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony.
That's great, that is, yeah. Let me get a shot at that magnificent beard, Your Excellency.
You claim it to be impossible that you're the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim.
I'm a Giorno and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now, because that's many memoism. For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminate the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. So where is this trial going to take us? Alright. I'm actually going to go ahead and stop it right here, guys. I know it's only been an hour, but I do need to go ahead and get going, so I'm going to cut it a little short. However, more than likely, we will finish this trial tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll be able to go to the next episode. So, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.